statement that has come from the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who said that universities should not become spaces for ideological conflict. This he said while addressing students at an event in Delhi University. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that universities should instead become platforms for exchange of views. So this is an interesting point of view coming from Amit Shah. Let's listen in.
मैं ये बात जरूर करना चाहूंगा कि यूनिवर्सिटी को वैचारिक लड़ाई का अखाड़ा नहीं बनाना चाहिए। हिंसा और वैचारिक लड़ाई इसका रणक्षेत्र यूनिवर्सिटी नहीं बननी चाहिए। आइडियोलॉजी यूनिवर्सिटी से ही इमर्ज होती है। युवा आइडियोलॉजी में संघर्ष की जगह, लड़ाई की जगह विमर्श को स्थान दें। जो श्रेष्ठ है वो अपने आप बाहर आ जाएगा। हम क्यों चिंता करें? एक बार विमर्श करें, एक बार चर्चा करें। समय की कसौटी पर जो खरा उतरेगा वो ही बाहर आएगा।
Well, Madhav from Times Network joining us on this big story that we are tracking today. Good evening, Madhav. Of course, as we all know, many of our campuses across the country have got vitiated because of political conflicts. What is the context in which Union Home Minister has made this statement saying universities should be kept out of this political, ideological conflicts?
Well, absolutely. Rather than, being a place for exchange of ideas, what the Union Home Minister has very clearly articulated is that he does not want them to become ideological battlegrounds. And it's not just Delhi University where he was, in fact, addressing that gathering where he made that comment, but other universities in the national capital that have seen very, very heated, issues where there have been protests, there have been situations where the violence has taken place on campus, police had been called in. This has happened several times in other universities such as JNU, as well as Jamia Millia Islamia, and even, of course, in certain cases in the Delhi University as well over the past few years. So the statement is being made perhaps in that context where he says that rather than becoming ideological battlegrounds, universities should be a place where the students should be focused on exchange of ideas. Now, we will have to see, of course, what the responses will be coming in from opposition parties, because clearly this is one statement that opposition is likely to latch on to, because the onus of whatever has happened in the universities, opposition parties in the past have always put it at the doorstep of the BJP. The BJP, of course, has said that these are the actions of other of the students that has necessitated whatever action had taken place on ground. But be that as it may, a very significant statement coming as it does from the person literally responsible for the union government's handling as far as law and order is concerned, and that is the Union Home Minister Amit Shah himself.
Yes, Madhav, for the sake of our viewers, let's not forget that, in campuses like JNU, for instance, there's a very clear divide between students, isn't it? Between the left wing and the right wing. We're all aware how it has turned out. The number of instances of violent protests and cases of conflicts between students. So is there a reference to those instances that students must realize that at the end of the day, they don't belong to political parties? These are student affiliates and they should remain so.
Well, I think that is the thrust of the message coming in from the Home Minister when he made this particular statement. Because as you rightly said, and I was referring to earlier as well, we've seen incidents of violence where one party has blamed the other party being responsible for this violence. Instances where, there were masked intruders has been alleged in the past as well, alleging that outsiders entered campuses and created all of this violence. All sorts of such exchanges have happened in the recent past. We've also seen police forces being called in to quell the situation when certain protests have perhaps gone out of hand. So that really, of course, at any level, not just here in India, but anywhere in the world, that is not a desirable situation. And that is why the Home Minister is saying that it should be restricted to exchange of ideas rather than actually becoming a full-blown ideological battleground. Of course, as you rightly said, there are, of course, student wings of various political parties. It's not just the left, it is the Congress, it is the BJP, the RSS affiliate, ABVP, NSUI of the Congress, even the Aam Aadmi Party has its own student wing. So all of these political parties do have a presence on these campuses. But clearly, what the caution coming in from the Home Minister is that it should be restricted to exchange of ideas and not really a full-blown ideological battleground that universities should be representing. That perhaps is the thrust of his message here.
Madhav, thank you so much for joining us on The Big Focus with your perspective on the story.